Oh man, this is Assassin's Creed Shadows Backlash. It's pretty tremendous, mostly because this is the first time that we're seeing not just the West get blacked, but now we're going over to Japan, and well, it's not going over so well. Okay, but I guess they just need to go ahead and get some cultural enrichment, or maybe it's just hearkening back to some very touchy situations, because I thought we were supposed to stop Asian hate and we're not supposed to elude daily life in large metropolitan cities. But Japanese reception from Ubisoft's latest video games, Assassin's Creed Shadows. One Japanese user says, "For the first time I understand what cultural appropriation was. Very dismissive, neo-colonialists we have here." Yeah, no, exactly. And well, if you take a look at the reception across every single medium that's out there, they are getting ratioed to hell and back. You would think that this is Assassin's Creed Shadows getting released in conjunction with Amazon's The Rings of Power, like 303,000 downvotes to 214,000 upvotes. That's not too bad, I guess, on the official Ubisoft account at the world premiere trailer. Oh, right, but then, okay, then you get some of the behind-the-scenes videos, and well, who are Naoe and Yasuke? We'll just go ahead. Well, we'll try to clear that up a little bit here as we move forward. And then the Japanese dub version on the Japanese Ubisoft account, 18,000 downvote to 2,300 upvotes. Oopsie daisy, not very good. And then the Assassin's Creed Shadows explained. It should just, instead of being titled Samurai Shinobi in Feudal Japan, it should just be Assassin's Creed Shadows explained. Why? But 15,000 down to 5,600 up. All of them, every single video that Ubisoft is putting up is getting absolutely blasted. What does the brain trust behind these decisions end up looking like? Because, okay, cool. Like, we talked about this before. We talked about this with the announcement earlier this week of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it's like, yeah, the Assassin's Creed franchise hasn't always been a one-to-one with history, but they've done a good job. But the thing is, whenever they decide to pick a historical epoch, it's always been a representative from there. When you were in Italy, you played as an Italian. When you were in England, you played as somebody traditionally looking English in the 1800s. Same with the Frenchmen, same with the Egyptians. You can just run down the list until you get to Japan, when you decide to go with a black guy. What's changed? What has changed? Assassin's Creed Shadows, Assassin's Creed Shadow. Lead writer, a white liberal woman. Lead writer, white. Sashi Schmidt, Japan Gender Studies, Canadian liberal woman. Oh my god, man. Is there anything more insufferable than a Canadian? Oh, a Canadian liberal white woman. That would be it. Claims Wikipedia is trustworthy. Oh, I got news for you. Wrote an entire piece denominated non-binary gender in Genji and Tales of Idolized Boys. What? That's your credit? That was your resume stuffer in order to get the lead writer position? Yeah, that's like, just look at the transformation over a short 7 years at Ubisoft. Back in 2007, where they were actually cranking out good I was going to say films, but that's the way that they were writing them. But 2007, was that not when the original Assassin's Creed came out? Or at least probably when they were working on it. But you can see the background. It kind of looks like that after picture when Elon Musk decided to purge Twitter. And then you got 2014, where it's like, oh, everything was starting to go downhill when Ubisoft was starting to become intensely, well, by that point, it was already known to the wider industry that if you were going to be getting a Ubisoft game, you were going to be getting that Ubisoft game. And I would love to see the update another 7-10 years from now, because we won't be getting an update, especially if they continue to drill down with these type of politics, because the only people backing them up, it's not the customers, okay? It's games journalism, and well, that shield is not going to be there for much longer, especially when they start to trot out excuses like this. Let's not pretend we're mad the Assassin's Creed Shadow Samurai isn't Asian. No, actually we are, because not only are you breaking from tradition, is that you're also cherry picking one of these examples that you're trying to use by saying, oh, we're always picking historical figures, and it just so happens that Yasuke is actually like a samurai and he's actually black. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you lie to our faces when we can just as easily go back and take a look at the history there and see what you're all about? But let's read some of this cancer. Ubisoft has finally announced its long-awaited Assassin's Creed game set in Feudal Japan. Yeah, that's something I was talking about before. It's like Feudal Japan has always been right at the top when it comes to desired locations for Assassin's Creed. And now that we're finally here, they fumble the bag worse than Ubisoft ever has, which is a high bar even for them. Subtitled Shadows. Yeah, exactly. It follows a dual protagonists, a ninja named Naoi. Excuse me, she's a shinobi, you goddamn bigot. And a samurai based on historical black samurai. Oh, he's not though. Yasuke. While it's known issue that Asian representation in Western gaming is severely lacking, yeah, they just decided to call the game Shadows. They put a black guy in it, and what's he going to be doing throughout the game? Killing a bunch of Japanese. I thought we're supposed to stop Asian hate. I find it hypocritical and laughable that we're only talking about the need for an Asian protagonist now when it's revealed Assassin's Creed Shadow will star a black samurai. No. This is about cultural appropriation, something that you'd normally scream from the hilltops about. But here, now that it's full mask off, whenever you talk about diversity and inclusion, you just want to stuff a black person in it. And now that you've done that, and now that you've been caught with your hand in the cookie jar, now you want to run it back? No. You're not allowed to do that. This misses the forest for the trees. Does it really? Well, I'm always advocating for more Asian men in AAA games. Thanks, Matt Kim. Nobody cares. I'll be the first to say that better representation isn't going to be found in yet another samurai hero. Why? Because those games are great. Like, I remember playing Onimusha. Those were fantastic. And guess what? They starred Japanese guys. Jean Bernot was in, what, the fourth one or something like that? But you also had, a Japanese samurai in it. Okay? Samurai are some of the coolest people in history. Okay? I know a lot of people like the old, chainmail, pseudo-fantasy aesthetic of medieval Europe. Okay, some people like Vikings. I was always partial to samurai, and it had nothing to do with being a weeb. Okay, I don't like anime like that. Not a Japanophile like some people. Hell, if I was to rank some of my more women that I find the most attractive, this might be sacrilegious, but I'd put Asian women just about at the bottom, ahead of some that Yasuke might find appropriate. But whatever. But this dude is out here just saying enough with samurais. They're getting stereotyped. But yeah, how about your entire industry that you're trying to run cover for being exposed to stereotyping whenever they want to go ahead and try to do something different? It's just code for stick a black person in it and make it pathetic. But other distractions that they're trying to run. Actually, other samurai game that's out there, you have Neo, if you remember from a few years ago. Neo, I think it's a Souls-like rather. It's got a sword. I was gonna say swords-like. Well, it wouldn't be a swords-like. It has a sword. But anyways, yeah, Neo, very well received at the time. I think it's still being played in certain forms and factors. But yeah, where the game's journalists had to go ahead and concede, and I'll just go ahead and read this because I know it's getting cut off. Anyways, it's a shame that the game settles itself with telling the story of the first Gaijin samurai, William Adams. Yes, he's an actual historical figure. In fact, John Blackthorne in James Cavill's 1975 novel Shogun. Oh, right. Yeah, shout out Shogun is based on Adams. And didn't he end up getting swapped out for an Asian in the most recent show? But don't worry about that. It was great. Nobody seemed to care about that. Well, and how much of a blank slate Williams ends up being over the course of the game story. There is no logical reason why he needed to be our gateway into this world instead of the native with actual skin in the game. Okay, cool. You want to talk about historical accuracy when you actually have the first white samurai, somebody who is a historically accurate samurai, and then you want to go on to lament that, yeah, the story's good, yeah, we want to play the game, but we have problems with it because the protagonist is white. But yeah, who is Yasuke? Oh, there's another article from IGN, Assassin's Creed Shadows Black Samurai Explained. Oh, really? See how it's totally fine, guys. It's totally wonderful. But when in actuality, so IGN promotes the Asians or the Assassin's Creed rather, Yasuke, got a couple of other names that come to mind, was a samurai myth, cites the official historian that the game consulted with. Oh, there's our Sashi Smith Hori woke Canadian crap. The historian who wants to destigmatize master acolyte transgenerational sex in her work, Tales of Idolized Boys. Yeah, sounds like a total freak, huh? Well, let's cherry pick some examples here. Okay, Sachi Smith, professor of Japanese and literary culture, working with Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed Shadows, says Yasuke has been featured in many creative writings and media. If you want to go to Wikipedia for Yasuke's page, holy shit, there's a long list of novels, TV series, dramas that have been inspired by him. Is there really? He is a historical character or someone who was inspired by him. Oh, okay. I think people in Japan really embrace him as a character. No, they embrace him as a novelty. And we really like to see him representing the samurai spirit. Is that right? But here you have Ubisoft doing all the scummy, we checked with the experts in order to justify our bad decision making. We found out that we didn't in fact make bad decisions. Like, this is ultimately going to come back and bite them in the ass because, well, if you want to take a look at what's happening in the wider public, and, well, nobody's buying it. Nobody is buying this crap at all whatsoever because Ubisoft shares tank as racist, that Kotaku, IGN, and The Gamer defend Yasuke, the African who surrendered to his master's opponents. Oh yeah, right. That's that's very much a thing as well. Like, he was a retainer, right? Like basically a sword bearer for Oda Nobunaga in feudal Japan. He touted him around as a curiosity, as the first black person that they've ever seen in Japan. He was never given a traditional katana. He was given a short sword. Just is what it is, man. Want to tell that story? Okay, go for it. I don't necessarily think it's going to move consoles. It's not going to move units at all whatsoever. But if you want to be accurate, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, if you just want to delve completely into fiction, that's totally on you. Just don't lie to people. Ubisoft shares took a nosedive after the release of the official Assassin's Creed. Yes, despite furious attempts by racists at sleaze rags, yes, Kotaku, IGN, and The Gamer defending the blackwashing of Japanese history and culture at Ubisoft's incredibly racist decision to not give Assassin's Creed Shadows a Japanese male protagonist, but instead rewrite history and pass off the real-life historical figure Yasuke, who was a slave, as a main protagonist and samurai. Again, there's a cool story that you could tell there, but you decide you didn't, and, well, your stocks end up boring this out. But to be completely honest, man, them just dropping 4% over the past couple of days, it doesn't end up telling the full story, because here, okay, I had it all pulled up. Yeah, the year to date for Ubisoft, it's not been good, guys. Like, Ubisoft is like many other studios in the AAA space. They're failing, okay? Like, they've spent most of the year under the point where they're at right now. Like, after hours trading, they're back over $21, okay? Ooh, good for you. But that is still down quite a bit. Like, just about half way to your high point on the year, but nowhere near as low as you got. That would have been around the time when you tried to delve into the quadruple A space with the ill-fated Skull and Bones release, and, well, now you're trying to run that back, and you're trying to do that again, because here you go. You're trying to do funny things when it comes to the pricing of this game, and I guess this is what you're going to be doing moving forward. But if you're going to continue to do this, you're not going to be a company much longer. But Ubisoft has some explaining to do, because Asmongold and so many other people have pointed this out. He's just, the loudest voice in the room on this. Furious over Assassin's Creed Shadows, and it's not because of Yasuke. No, it's more traditional Ubisoft screwery. Twitch streamer Asmongold was not happy with Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows announcement, but not for the reason you might think. Assassin's Creed Shadows has caused a rift in the gaming community over its decision to make Yasuke a main character and depicting him as a samurai. But while that argument rages on, Asmongold has pinpointed another problem with the next installment in the Assassin's Creed series, and has nothing to do with Yasuke. After checking out the pre-order package, and was baffled by the pricing options of the game and how Ubisoft is charging over $100 for some versions of the game. Yeah, not just any versions. the Gold Edition, the Ultimate Edition. These are all digital releases, by the way, so you're just paying for packets of data upwards of $129 American. And if you wanted a collector's edition, which back in the day, right, I actually bought myself a couple of Ubisoft collector's editions, but they were like $80 or $90, and they came with cool statues and stuff like that. Like, I threw them all out. Like, I had the Assassin's Creed 3 one. I think I got the Black Flag. Yeah, no, I did get the Black Flag one, because I remember the ship mast and then the flag that was on there. It was the Assassin's Creed flag instead of the skull and bones. Like, it was pretty decent, right? But I cleaned all of that stuff out. I had so many of those stupid collector's editions, but they were like $10, $20 over the purchase price of the game back when it was $60. And you're going to see here very shortly how absolutely boned Canadian gamers end up getting it. And there's a reason why I don't buy very many games anymore, especially at full price, especially because, yeah, $70 for the game, and you take a look at the AAA space and you wonder why everybody's missing their expectations. And then you go, okay, so you get a pre-order bonus, whatever, a season pass, and 3 days early access for just a low price of an additional $40. And if you want the ultimate pack, well, don't worry, then you can pay an additional $60. What are you doing? And then, like I was alluding to before with the collector's edition, I've seen some north of $200, and all you get is that same type of statue that I was getting 10 years ago for an additional 150 over the top of that. It's ridiculous. But they're doing this with Shadows. They're doing this with Star Wars Outlaws. This is the Ubisoft model going forward. And why do you think the only people, like, if this was just simply another company making this type of mistake, people might give them the benefit of the doubt. They might not be going so hard on them. But this is one of the quintessential bad faith companies that we've seen in the AAA space for a long time in the form of Ubisoft. Nobody gives them the benefit of the doubt because they don't deserve it. It's like if Disney releases another terrible film. Is anybody going to be shocked? No. But are people going to come back around to them in any expeditious way if they were to course correct? No, man. Ubisoft it's just that character. Anyways, everyone's mad about this character, okay, Yasuke. Maybe this is their strategy. Add in a main character for the game that's really controversial, and that way it'll distract you from the fact that you're trying to get people to spend $130 on a game. Yeah, exactly, with nothing really perceivably different about it. Shadows has a few versions listed, $70, $110 for gold, $130 for everything, right? Seasons Pass is particularly rubbed Asmongold the wrong way because those who buy the standard version won't even get everything the game has to offer, such as Day 1 DLC. Yeah, that's always been scummy, and Ubisoft has always done this. Now, he also pointed to Ubisoft Plus subscription service, which offered the Ultimate Edition for $18 a month. Great! Like, theoretically, you could play it for $18. $18 rental for a month. Basically what that is. But then at the same time, you know, you sign up for their Ultimate Plus service, and they just hope, kind of like a lot of those streaming services that are now starting to hit troubled times, they just want your recurring sub without you really using the service, because bandwidth is definitely the biggest barrier for a lot of these streamers or these, you know, game services that are out there. But, you know, $18 a month, you know, that's nothing to sneeze at. And if you can get enough people to just go ahead and continue to re-up that, well, the $18 up front is cheaper than up to $130. No, I'll just sign up for that. And then you forget about it. And then you take a look at your bill a couple of months down the line and you realize, oh my God, I ended up paying for that game twice over. I didn't even take advantage of any of the crap that was on there. Hell, I didn't even bother playing for it. Playing it rather. He also pointed, Ubisoft, I know this sounds crazy. They don't want you to buy this Ultimate Edition. This is a lot worse. If they want to butcher Japanese history, that's not my problem, but this is a problem. I'll take the bifurcated approach that, the scummy business practices, that's definitely a universal AAA games market issue, but the butchering of Japanese history, well, that's another big problem, because that's the overall desecration of history. That is the rewriting of specific pasts in order to try to push an agenda. I'm not for that at all whatsoever, but here's the thing, man. When you insult such a proud history like the Japanese, You end up getting the backlash like you do with Assassin's Creed Shadows. But what do you do? What do you end up getting when you respect Japanese culture, like a certain other game did? Okay, in the form of Ghost of Tsushima, which has now officially been released on PC, and well, it's the top-selling game on Steam. I got the Steam charts that are right here, and it is right now, as of right now, where are we at? 22nd best played game, and as you can see, $80 for a game that's what, 4 years old at this point in time. Jesus, 47,000, just about 48,000 people as of recording playing the game. 61,000 peak players, which is very likely over this weekend. Spoiler, I'm recording this Friday evening, so Saturday, Sunday, and I know for a few countries it's going to be a long weekend for them. It is for us up here in Canada. Yeah, there's a good chance that this ends up touching 70, 80, 90, 100,000 people. Even with the goofy Sony crap on the side, them trying to tank this port. So I think with all of the bad word of mouth associated with PSN trying to force their stupid accounts onto this, okay, it's just simply the backlash of Assassin's Creed Shadows ending up giving what is otherwise a phenomenally reviewed and received game in Ghost of Tsushima, giving them an additional boost over the top of that. I'm just also going to wonder when this comes out, okay, when Assassin's Creed Shadows ultimately releases at the end of November, is it going to end up doing the numbers that Ghost of Tsushima, a PC port 4 years on, is doing right now? Gotta wonder on that. Really gotta wonder. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.